Hi, and welcome back to our special episode of Tuesdays with Grace. Today, we're going to be talking about getting ready for fall. So, Angelique, what's your favorite part about fall?
I love the smells, the cinnamons and the cloves. Yes. I mean, I change all of my scents in my house, so they start having that warm vanilla and stuff. I'm such a sucker for the change of the leaves because I grew up in the desert and things went from green to brown. Because it got so hot. Yeah. So like the leaves just died.
Around here, do you ever go into the canyon?
I do. I grab my camera and I just go take pictures. There's not a lot of reds, but even the oranges and the golds that come out, it's just such a gorgeous time of the year. I love the fashion. I'm a boot girl, so as soon as it gets just slightly cool enough to wear boots, and that could be like 89 degrees, I get those boots out.
Ooh, that's so fun.
I just love everything. Just, I don't know, it just starts to get nicer and that little bit of crispness, but you can still enjoy the day. Fall's one of my favorite times of years.
Oh, I love that.
I love getting ready for fall and having those apple ciders. Like getting ready right next to my sewing machine. It's the best time to quilt because you can open the window, it's cold outside, your iron doesn't ruin the heat of your room. It's just nice. I love it.
My favorite thing about fall is I love making quilted coats, and I can't wear them in the summer, and the winter is a little too cold in Utah for them, and I have like 5 that I rotate at the moment in the fall that are my favorite, and they're cozy, and it just feels like you're wrapped in a warm quilt all day, and it's my favorite.
Yes, I love
that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, do you guys have any fun projects that you're working on for fall or that you're going to start working on in the fall?
We're so close to Halloween. I'm always finishing that last project because I love Halloween. It's my favorite. So I will do Halloween through November 1st. I even if I don't get to like have the project finished, but then it's time to turn things around and start making gifts. And so, I have like the major gifts done. It's the small little gifts for people where I just start going, oh, I need to get this person this or whatever. Yeah. Like last year I decided I'm going to do a bunch of mug rugs. And I had my embroidery machine, so I embroidered their initial on the front. I'm like, this will not take any time at all. It took me like a couple of weeks.
All the time.
So, and I waited too long. So this year it's making that list and checking it twice and getting started on it so that I can, actually enjoy things. I always have white lights up in my house because I have my quilt frame and I have it framed around that. And part of that is because like with Christmas, it just gets so kind of sad when you take down the Christmas decorations. So I put the clear lights up and I leave them all year. But I have these like orangey lights and I have like these little plastic leaves that I've tangled on them, so those will come out and some of those things, and then I'll start looking through the Halloween stuff and hanging that stuff up, and then I'll go back to just the fall stuff for a while until about Thanksgiving, and then it's full on Christmas. So it gets to be a really busy time of the year.
Well, speaking of gifts, I think Jenna has some great ideas for gifts for you guys.
Oh, good, because I need some. Hopefully some of them are quick.
Some of them are quick and some of them are not so quick, but I'm going to make it easy. So we're going to start with like your easy quilted bag.
Ooh,
someone
cute.
actually made this one for me, and for like a block swap of some sort, and I love it, and it is my makeup bag, and I have probably 12 really similar to this sitting at my house that are quilted, ready just to go out to people.
Well, those are quick and easy to make too. If you have like a free motion thing that you've started on and you're practicing with your free motion, it's a great way to get that used up, and you can cut it into pieces and make a great bag.
Yeah, and it looks like a great project for like reusing stuff, like going to the thrift store and getting some knits or whatever.
Right.
And
my favorite is using stuff like this for scraps. So like I have fanny packs that I've made people. Last Christmas I made a bunch, and all of this was scraps from my favorite quilt. And the first time you put it together, it took me 3 hours. But since then, I can get one done in like an hour and a half. And if I bulk make them, then I can probably make like 10 in a day if I do like an 8-hour day. And it's so fun. And so these are really, really easy. One of my favorite gifts, especially if like for me, for my nieces and nephews, for you, maybe if you have a whole lot of grandkids or something and you want to show them your love, but making a quilt takes a lot of time. I love layer cakes. They are my favorite. And this is a Halloween quilt I made. This one's for my sister-in-law. And all it is a layer cake. It's the Hey Boo line. I don't know if you noticed.
I don't know if you noticed, it matches our table runner.
Oh my gosh!
What a coincidence!
Right? And what I love about layer cake quilts too is you can just practice your free motion skills, so it's a little bit selfish where you can.
And there's no cutting.
And there's no cutting! Woo! Yes. And I love putting minky on the back because I notice at my house, the quilts that get used the most are the minky ones.
Absolutely.
And so I have the Halloween one and I have a Christmas one. This one is selfishly for me because I don't have a Christmas quilt at home yet. I gave my only Christmas quilt to my mom. And so this one's now mine. And minky just shows off quilting so well.
It does.
And so these are just perfect. If you need to throw together some quilts for your grandkids, you could easily do this in a day.
I'm gonna be honest, Jenna.
Easy.
UFOs are my biggest problem. I have so many of them, and fall is a great time to get rid of those extra unfinished projects. And honestly, I mean, I've got one that I made for my niece probably, see, she's 4 now. I started it before she was born, and it's still unfinished in a bin. But doing a layer cake project like that would be so fast, so easy. I think it's a great idea, especially for those family members. You need to whip something out quick. You can pick up a layer cake or even a charm pack for a smaller kid.
Right.
It's a great way to practice your skills and just no cutting, simple, smooth, easy.
Yeah. There is a time for a really complicated quilt and putting all your effort into it, and there is a time for just throwing a quilt out there just so that a family member can feel loved.
Well,
right?
also one of the places that I like to shop online, a lot of times what they always have on sale in a fabric line is going to be like those charm packs or those layer cakes. And it just makes it super fun and gives you an excuse to buy them.
Pre-cuts are great. Any of your jelly rolls, your charm packs, your layer cakes, even fat quarters have a time and a place. And it just makes your quilting so much easier. There's less cutting. You don't have to worry about finding fabrics that match together. It's really simple, and there are so many great fall lines that are just stunning.
Right? My plan for, because I'm spending Christmas with all of my nieces and nephews and my sister and brother-in-law, and my plan for Christmas is to make them, all of my nieces and nephew, a duffel bag, like a quilted duffel bag.
That's so smart.
And so charm packs are perfect for those. And also I love cheater prints because I can just quilt along the lines of the cheater prints and no one knows the wiser, and they're everybody's favorite because it all meshes together anyway, right?
Yeah. It's great. I love it.
It is so fun.
Well, is there anything else you wanted to show us?
I did want to show you one more thing, okay? I made these last year as an excuse to use scraps because we all know we have a whole bunch of scraps. And my favorite thing is when I do half square triangles on quilts, I always sew like a ½ inch past the line, and so that I can have a bunch of mini half square triangles for projects.
Well, those are great if you have any snowballed corners too. It's a great way to use those extra scraps and not just toss them away.
Exactly, and so these are all scraps. All these scraps are from a quilt that's on my bed right now, and I didn't even use a pattern. I straight up just traced what I thought would look like a really good size stocking, and I quilted both sides on my machine. You can see the fabric in the middle does not, or like on the inside, does not match anything at all, and I'm okay with that, okay? This was fabric I needed to get rid of. And I love putting tags on my projects because also when you put a tag on your project and you give it to someone, it looks a little bit more professional.
And it shows love because you can have handmade ones with love. You can show them all those little things. Even if you wanted to use those fabric pens on the inside and write something like with love from Auntie Sicko or whatever it is, it's something that adds that elevated care to the receiver of that gift.
Right? And these were so easy to throw together, and like we're always looking for a way to use our scraps and to not have to buy anything new, especially when making a present for someone.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Everyone's got something laying around that they can throw together and make something beautiful and amazing. I mean, I think that's something that's it's not talked about as much in the quilting community, but any crafter or someone who makes things, a maker, I'll call them, because that includes artists and crafters alike, but it's amazing to see people's ability to make something out of nothing. right? To just take a pile of scraps, put it together, and make a beautiful stocking without anything. I mean, that's an art form. It's really talented, and I appreciate your willingness to share your projects with us, Jenna. That's really awesome.
That's why I also like when we're talking about scrappy and throwing things together. That's why I love like Kafe and Anna Maria Horner and Tula and just people who take really extravagant colors and prints and mesh them together, where my brain would normally say, oh, that doesn't work. And then I see a quilt with all of these random patterns and fabrics that are like really thought about and put together in a really meticulous way that I would never think about. And so anytime I'm doing a scrappy project like that with any of my random stuff at home, I always try to channel my inner Kafe and Anna Maria Horner and all of the people I see online who do really fun scrappy projects to make something beautiful.
Exactly. I love that. Thank you, Jenna.
Yeah, I always have like a pile of scraps, and I've been collecting all those really tiny ones and putting in one of my things because I'd seen like a couple years ago, one of our ambassadors had done that where they threw that on, like the backing, and threw the netting down. I was like, I need to do that. So I've been collecting all of that stuff, and I'm getting ready to use all those scraps because before they just went in the trash.
Right.
But now it's like, collect it because I'm going to do something fun with it.
Well, yeah, even doing little English paper piecing. Like you gave me some extra scraps that you had from a Halloween project, and it turned into this beautiful pillow, and I'm so excited to show you guys. But I mean, stuff like that, you can use it for things that you don't even expect to be able to use it for. It's always
or that quilt that I was going to do runners with it, and I didn't like how the pieces were coming together, and just kind of expanding. It was a disappearing 9-patch, and just kind of expanding it into a quilt and just kind of moving things around. It actually came out beautiful. I was really, really pleased with the final presentation of that. So yeah, I think sometimes you just have to go for it and try. And I mean, if they're scraps anyway and you're just going to throw them away, what's the harm?
Right? I feel like sometimes the more chaos in the quilt, the better, especially when it comes to a bunch of random scraps of pattern and color. Like, just quilting chaos is my favorite.
Just practice. It's the only way you're going to get better, right? Just practice, make something fun, make something beautiful, and give it to someone, because even if you don't love it,
somebody
else
will.
might,
Yeah.
Right?
My husband wanted that quilt. I'm like, really? And I'm like, no, it's a work quilt. You can't have it. But he was like, he really wanted it, and I was like, it's not. It wasn't me. It wasn't something that I would love, because it's not like the colors that because I like the bright colors like you guys do and some of those fun fabrics. But yeah, he thought it was great. So you just never know what somebody else is going to appreciate.
There are quilts that I'll do for clients where they want some specific something from me, and I'll make them, and it's exactly what they want, and I don't necessarily love it, but then I post it online and everyone is obsessing about it in the comments, and I'm like, oh, maybe it is really cute. You're right. I just want something like pink in my house, and this isn't pink.
Well, I think it's interesting, going off of what you were saying, like, people will throw quilts away, or they'll give them to the DI or to their local thrift store, and you find some of these magnificent, beautiful quilts that you can repurpose and make things with. And just to recognize that even though it may not be your thing, it's someone else's, and it's still a work of art, regardless of what it turns out to be. It's your heart and soul that you've poured out into this piece, and it's amazing to see what people can do.
And you just kind of cuddle up with it, and nice cup of tea or coffee. I make my own pumpkin spice latte flavorings instead of with actual pumpkin in it, so I don't spend all my money at the place that starts with an S that time of the year, and just just enjoy doing the process, and because it gets kind of cold here, and I get to where it's time for me to hide in my house until the sun comes out again. So I'll start living in my quilt room.
It still shocks me to find quilts at thrift stores. Every time I find one, I just want to cry inside, because I know how much work goes into it, and I know the person who made it did not take it to the thrift store.
No, there's no way.
Oh my goodness.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us on this special episode of Tuesdays with Grace. Drop in the comments your favorite fall traditions or projects that you're making. We want to see it, others want to see it, so please share. We're so excited to see what you have, and we hope you have a great Halloween, and join us next week on Tuesdays with Grace.